Well, hello everybody. Mr. Mac here, back for another installment of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Because of the movie has been out and about, I want to say Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I want to punch myself in the mouth. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We're going to read chapters 5 and 6 today. When we left Charlie and the Buckets, Charlie was listening eagerly to Grandpa Joe tell him the story of Willy Wonka and also the closing of the factory and the reasons behind the closing of the factory. You know, he hired townspeople and everybody to work in his factory. He had the biggest candy factory in the world, so he had to have hundreds of people working there. Spies. He didn't know he had hired spies. Spies who took Charlie's, Willy Wonka's secrets to their own factories and made their own versions of Willy Wonka's brilliance. Brilliant creations. The balloon that could blow up to humongous sizes, and when it popped, you could eat it. Ice cream that never melted. Bubblegum that never lost its flavor. Different candy shops were selling stolen secrets from Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka jumped up and down and got angry, pulled on his beard, and shut his factory for good. He fired all the people, told them to leave. He was sorry, but they had to go. And he shut his front gates and chained them up for good. And all that delicious chocolate and all that marvelous candy was gone from the world. The factory stayed closed for such a long time. But then, 10 years ago, Grandpa Joe tells us, the factory opened up again. The gates never opened. It was never unlocked. The front gate stayed locked securely, and yet the factory was still running. Before, it needed hundreds of people in order to do that. It's the biggest factory in the world, the chocolate factory. Now it's running again, but no people are going in, and no people are coming out. No one is seen coming in or out of those gates. And yet, the factory's running. Candy is being manufactured, coming through trap doors through the walls to be delivered by the, FedEx people. There is a mystery, though. Townspeople talk about things they see in the windows of the factory as they stand and they breathe in the delicious chocolate and they look and they wonder, who's running the factory? And they can see in the windows, especially at night, when it's lit inside, shadows of what looks like little people. Grandpa Joe says, no taller, no bigger than his knee. Very strange. Now, at the end of chapter 4, just as we were finishing the chapter, Dad Bucket comes in from work, and he has the newspaper, and he's waving it around. And he says, have you heard? Have you heard? He was very excited. And he read it, and that's the newspaper there. I had trouble reading the words. They kind of blended together. But it says, big headline on the front page, Wonka Factory to be opened at last to a lucky few. Everybody's so excited. All right, so the golden tickets. Now, don't let that confuse you, because the factory had been open for 10 years, mysteriously run by short people, evidently. This headline says Wonka Factory to be opened at last to a lucky few. It doesn't mean that the factory is opening again. It means that a lucky few are going to be allowed to come in and visit the factory. The golden tickets. You mean people are actually going to be allowed to go inside the factory? Grandpa Joe said. Read us what it says quickly. All right, said Mr. Bucket, smoothing out the newspaper. Listen. Now, this is the article in the newspaper right there. The Evening Bulletin. Mr. Willy Wonka, the candy-making genius whom no one has seen for the last 10 years, sent out the following notice today. I, Willy Wonka, have decided to allow 5 children, just 5, mind you, and no more, to visit my factory this year. These lucky children will be shown around personally by me, and they will be allowed to see all the secrets and the magic of my factory. Then, at the end of the tour, as a special present, all of them shall be given enough chocolates and candies to last them for the rest of their lives. So watch out for the golden tickets. 5 golden tickets have been printed on golden paper. These 5 golden tickets have been hidden underneath the ordinary wrapping paper of 5 ordinary candy bars. These candy bars may be anywhere, in a shop, in any street, in any town, in any country of the world, upon any counter where Willy Wonka candies are sold. And the 5 lucky finders of these 5 golden tickets are the only ones who will be allowed to visit my factory and see what it's like inside. Good luck to all of you, and happy hunting. Signed, Willy Wonka. The man's dotty, muttered Grandma Josephine. No, he's brilliant, cried Grandpa Joe. He's a magician. Just imagine what will happen now. The whole world will be searching for those golden tickets. Everyone will be buying Wonka's candy bars in the hope of finding one. He'll sell more than ever before. Oh, how exciting it would be to find one. And all the chocolate and candies you could eat for the rest of your life for free, Grandpa George says. Just imagine that. Well, they'd have to deliver them in a truck, said Grandma Georgina. Ooh, it makes me quite ill to think of it, says Grandma Josephine. Nonsense, says Grandpa Joe. Wouldn't it be something, Charlie, to open a bar of chocolate and see a golden ticket glistening inside? It certainly would, Grandpa. But there really isn't any hope. I only get 1 bar a year on my birthday. Oh, you never know, darling, said Grandma Georgina. It's your birthday next week. You have as much chance as anyone else. I'm afraid that isn't true, says Grandpa George. The kids who are going to find the golden tickets are the ones who can afford to buy candy bars every day. Your Charlie, our Charlie, you only get 1 a year. There's no hope for you. And that's the end of chapter 5. So, it has begun. The golden tickets are out and about, and they are out in the world someplace. And Charlie, I'm sure, would love to have one, but he doesn't have much hope. He only gets 1 a year. And Grandpa George, he doesn't have any hope. What did he say? You don't have any hope at getting one of these, kind of. Grandma Georgina, though, she says you have as much chance as anyone else. So I have hope for Charlie, but we'll see. Chapter 6, the first 2 finders. The very next day, the first golden ticket was found. The finder was a boy called Augustus Gloop, and Mr. Bucket's evening newspaper carried a large picture of him on the front page. The picture showed a 9-year-old boy who was so enormously fat that he looked as though he'd been blown up with a powerful pump. Great flabby folds of fat bulged out from every part of his body, and his face was like a monstrous ball of dough with 2 small, greedy, curranty eyes peering out into the world. The town in which Augustus Gloop lived, the newspaper said, had gone wild with excitement over the hero. Flags were flying from all the windows, and children had been given a holiday from school, and a parade was being organized in honor of the famous youth. Oh, I just knew Augustus would find the golden ticket, his mother had said in the newspaper. He eats so many candy bars each day that it was almost impossible for him not to find one. Eating is his hobby, you know. That's all he's interested in, but still, that's better than being a hooligan and shooting off zip guns and things like that in his spare time, isn't it? And what I always say is he wouldn't go on eating like he does unless he needed nourishment, would he? He's a growing boy. It's all vitamins anyway. What a thrill it will be for him to visit Mr. Wonka's marvelous factory. We're just proud as we can be. What a revolting woman, said Grandma Josephine. Only 4 tickets left, said Grandpa George. I wonder who will get those. Now the whole country, indeed the whole world, seemed suddenly to be caught up in a mad candy buying spree, everybody searching frantically for those precious remaining tickets. Fully grown women were seen going into sweet shops and buying 10 Wonka bars at a time, then tearing off the wrappers on the spot and peering eagerly underneath for a glint of golden paper. Children were taking hammers and smashing their piggy banks and running out to the shops with handfuls of money. In the city, a famous gangster robbed a bank of $5,000 and spent the whole lot on candy bars that same afternoon. And when the police entered his house to arrest him, they found him sitting on the floor amidst mountains of candy, ripping off the wrappers with the blade of a long dagger. In far-off Russia, a woman called Charlotte Russ claimed to have found the second ticket. She claimed to have found it, but it turned out to be a clever fake. In England, the famous scientist Professor Foulbody invented a machine that would tell you at once, without opening the wrapper of a candy bar, whether or not the golden ticket was hidden underneath. The machine had a mechanical arm that shot out with tremendous force and grabbed hold of anything that had the slightest bit of gold inside it. And for a moment, it looked like the answer to everything. But unfortunately, while the professor was showing off the machine to the public at the candy counter of a large department store, the mechanical arm shot out and made a grab for the gold filling in the back tooth of the Duchess, who was standing nearby. There was an ugly scene, and the machine was smashed by the crowd. This is the professor and his machine. Suddenly, on the day before Charlie Bucket's birthday, the newspapers announced that the second golden ticket had been found. The lucky person was a small girl called Veruca Salt, who lived with her rich parents in a great city far away. And once again, Mr. Bucket's evening newspaper carried a big picture of the finder. She was sitting between her beaming father and mother in the living room of their house, waving the golden ticket above her head and grinning from ear to ear. Veruca's father, Mr. Salt, had eagerly explained to the newspaper exactly how the ticket was found. "You'll see, fellows. As soon as my little girl told me that she simply had to have one of those golden tickets, I went out to town and I started buying up all the Wonka bars I could lay my hands on. Thousands of them. I must have bought thousands, hundreds of thousands. Well, and then I took them, loaded them onto trucks and sent them directly to my own factory. I'm in the peanut business, you see, and I've got about 100 women working for me at my joint selling peanuts for roasting and salting. That's what they do all day long. You see those women, they sit there shelling peanuts. So I says to them, "Okay, girls," I says, "from now on you can go stop shelling them peanuts and start shelling those wrappers off those crazy candy bars instead." And they did. I had every worker in that place yanking all the paper off those bars and chocolate, the bars of chocolate, full speed ahead, from morning till night. But 3 days went by, no luck. Oh, it was terrible. My little Veruca, she got more and more upset each day, and every time I went home, she'd scream at me, "Where's my golden ticket? Where's my golden ticket, Daddy?" She would lie for hours on the floor kicking and yelling in the most disturbing way. Well, sir, I just hated to see my little girl feeling so unhappy like that, so I vowed I'd keep up the search until I got her what she wanted. And then suddenly on the evening of the 4th day, one of my women workers yelled, "I got the golden ticket!" And I said, "Give it to me quick!" And she did, and I rushed it home and gave it to my darling Veruca. And now she's all smiles, and we have a happy home once again. That's even worse than the fat boy, Grandma Josephine says. "I don't think the girl's father played it quite fair, Grandpa, do you?" Charlie murmured. He spoils her, Charlie," Grandpa Joe said. "No good ever comes from spoiling a child like that, Charlie. You mark my words." "Come to bed, my darling," said Charlie's mother. "Tomorrow's your birthday, don't forget that. So I expect you'll be up early to open your present. A Wonka bar, Charlie said. It is a Wonka candy bar, isn't it? Yes, my love, Mother said. Of course it is. Oh, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be wonderful if I found the third golden ticket inside? Charlie said. Bring it in here when you get it, said Grandpa Joe. Then we can all watch you tear off that wrapper. All right, that's the end of chapter 6. Well, that was exciting. 2 of the tickets are bought. 2 of the tickets, actual tickets, were bought, but someone tried to cheat, come up with a fake ticket. But so we have Augustus Gloop, who seems to spend all day eating, and we have Veruca Salt, who seems to be a spoiled little princess, who gets everything she wants, and throws a fit when she doesn't get what she wants, and then when Mommy and Daddy give her what she wants, then she's all smiles. So, what did Grandpa Joe say about that? It does no good to spoil a child. So, that was awesome. I do want to show you the picture of Veruca Salt, Mom and Dad. Mr. Salt's in the peanut business. And there's Mama and there's Veruca. She's all smiles now. And I want to make sure I didn't leave out any. I didn't. Everything else is good. Take care. Come back for Chapter 7. And Chapter 7 is entitled Charlie's Birthday. And we're going to see he gets his one Wonka bar. We're going to see if he gets his golden ticket. Don't know. Take care. Bye-bye.